Do you ever have the burning questions that you really want to ask, but you never get the chance? Or you're listening to a podcast and you think, I'd love to ask them that. Well, now you have the chance to hear what the burning questions were at the Digg Podcast Live. First, we're going to hear from the fabulous Laura from the Walk-In Wardrobe and Benny from Todds Sleep. Just what did the crowd want to know? Okay, so I'm making my way down to this lady who's got a question for Laura or Benny. It's Kate. Hi, Kate. How are you? Do you want to introduce yourself, Kate, and then just say what your question is and who it's for?
Hi, my name is Kate Grant. I'm the first model with Down syndrome and UK. First model with heart. I have a question for Laura. When you're starting a business, how do you go about sourcing or buying the product?
Hi Kate, lovely to see you, lovely to meet you. So I think for me, especially as a woman, as a shopper, it was about sourcing products that I would love. So initially in those early days, it was just starting to attend trade shows. So like I would have went to London to a big trade show that happens twice a year. Paris, and then some of the agents in Dublin. But then I think as the brand grew, that's where we really started to grow and make a big difference and bring new product to the market that didn't have agents based in the UK. So it was about sourcing products outside of the UK, as far away as China, some mostly in Europe, France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and then Turkey as well. So it's all over the world. Our supplier base is definitely not in one area, it's all over.
Okay, and who's next for a question? Okay, Sharon, you've got a question?
Thank you. Yes, my name's Sharon McNulty from Joyful Spaces, and I'm the world's best professional organiser. Mine is directed towards Benny. Benny was my first mentor. He didn't realise he was going to be my mentor. I heard him chat many, many years ago as I started my business, and I suppose the big thing Benny said to me was, believe in yourself. I didn't. I really didn't. I was never a businesswoman before that. But thanks to Benny told me what to do. I followed to the letter, and now I am so chuffed. Thank you, Benny. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. I didn't even see you sitting there, but I remember vividly at the you came and spoke to me after a thing like this here, and one of the few times ago I was speaking, I said to him, I always remember that when you're here and you're thinking about asking a question, questions are the answer. You ask a shit question, you'll get a shit answer. You ask a good question, you'll get a good answer. And to see if you ask an excellent question, you will get an excellent answer. And that's coming directly from Tony Robbins, that book that I read. And the secret to finding out is ask plenty of questions. My favourite question is from a 1.5-year-old. Why is this a fork? Try answering that sometime.
Good man. And we have CJ here. Do you want to introduce yourself?
So I'm CJ from Rock Lighting Interiors, and my question's for Laura. And Laura, I've met you before from the beginning, and I think you're phenomenal at what you do. But my question is, do you find that Instagram is actually sliding by? Are you getting more from your TikTok now, or do you find it kind of equal, like a 50-50 thing, or is it more 70-40 or 70-30? Sorry.
Hi CJ, lovely to see you again. I actually think that we chat about Instagram a lot, and we'll all chat about it here, and it's the word, but actually, in fact, Facebook drives as much of our traffic as Instagram. TikTok, we are not just as big on, but we are trialing it at the minute. Whether it works for us as a brand or not, we don't know. We'll certainly give it a go. But like Instagram, I feel like the opportunities to kind of blow up are a lot better on TikTok than on Instagram. It definitely is difficult, but again, Instagram, it's the algorithm. Stay consistent, be in front all of the time. Don't give up on Instagram, don't give up on Facebook. I think it's like, if you want To be on socials, be on socials, you know, be consistent. And, you know, you'll not get the algorithm all the time, you'll not. But, you know, say you have 1,000 viewers, if you get 10 people buying out of that 1,000, that's 10 extra people that haven't maybe come through your door.
Yeah. Yes.
So just stay out there. Yeah, I'll come to you next.
Hi, I'm Karina from Occupational Therapy Northern Ireland. It's a question for both, I guess, Laura and Benny. What would you say your biggest resource is in terms of your business and making your business a success?
Oh, well, I'll answer first and then I'll hand over. My biggest resource is my team. 1,000%. I wouldn't be where I am today without a really, really strong, loyal, amazing team. So that's 100% my biggest resource.
1,000%, the exact same thing. It's the people that you attract to the business, and my business changed in way back in when Patricia, my first PA, whenever she joined my business, if you looked at my business graph, it just went boom through the roof. And there's brilliant people have come since that, and brilliant people are still there. And we attract really, really, really good people because we have a really, really, really good business, and we get the number one staff because we have the number one business. So we are. If you ever see a recruitment ad for Todds Leap, it says, "No ordinary jobs, no ordinary people." And if you can get past that line, you're welcome to apply for a job with us.
Brilliant, thanks.
The thing is that get the right people behind you, and that's essential to the business. Absolutely essential.
So I've just time for one more question on the floor, but if you have more questions, pop them into the box as well, and we will try and get Laura and Benny to answer them even on socials as the week goes on, because I know we're running a wee bit late because I was waiting on people.
Martin Booth from Corner Bakery. Just for both of you, I want to know, and a lot of people are probably thinking about this in the room, we're going through challenging times, the cost of things, so particularly for bricks and mortar businesses like myself, we are transitioning online. Do you have any advice for the next 6 months of how we can get through these challenging times, particularly around energy prices?
Yes, your sausage rolls were brilliant at the last thing I was at. Whenever the recession and the 07 recession came along, and people asked me my opinion, what are you doing about the 07 recession? I says, I'm not actually taking part in it. And when the COVID thing came along, I was asked, what are you doing about COVID? I says, well, I'm not actually taking part in it, but good luck with your masks and so on, so I'm not taking part. Now, I'm not going to take part in this recession that everybody's telling me that we're going to have. I'm not actually going to take part in it either. So I'm not the really good person to tell you, you know. And I go back to my mother, God rest her, and she said, the only way to gather spuds, ass down, or ass up and head down. So in other words, hard work. Ignore the draft from the red top papers on the news. Ignore that CRAP. Just ignore it. Everybody's telling us there's 2 years about the price of oil and about the price of this and the price of that and the price of this and the price of that. Guess what? We're all here. We're all the rest. We're all warm, and we're all actually reasonably well fed. Now, go back to the news that we were listening to all last year. We would be out on the street begging for buns. So keep at it. Keep doing what you're doing. You have to keep an eye on costs. But you can't, what are you going to do? You want to have your business, you have to stay open. So my advice to you is, don't bother taking part in the recession, just blow on with your business.
Look, echoing what Benny says, I think there's no doubt it's hard. The energy, the costs are going through the roof, but genuinely, is it any harder than your business being shut down overnight during COVID? So I feel definitely if you can make it through COVID and you can change and you can embrace change and you can pivot, then you can do this. You absolutely can. Bit more grit, bit more determination. If you even put 1% more, 2% more in, you'll get there.
The Digg podcast would not be possible if it wasn't for the support of the fantastic partners who team up with us each series. Series 6 is in partnership with Invest NI, my new business.
Mia was starting a new business and needed financial assistance and advice. She visited My New Business and accessed a directory of local support schemes. From grants and loans to advisory support, there was help available for her specific needs. Need help starting your new business? Visit nibusinessinfo.co.uk/mynewbusiness.
Now let's get back to making it happen.
Next up, we have some great questions for Pete, the CEO of Argento and Let's Go Hydro, and also Catherine Casey, founder of the Marketing Club. This is a great question and answer session.
So people have been sending me in things all week because I've been kind of building the hype, like Catherine has said. And somebody wrote in, Strabans, Kieran, proud of you, Pete. So just wanted to tell you that. So has anybody got any questions in the crowd? Okay, over here. So if you just want to introduce yourself and your business and then your question.
So I'm Lauren from LJK Designs, and my question is for Catherine. So how do you continually develop a consistent brand and look so people recognise you while still creating fresh and exciting content for your customers?
Thank you so much. That's a fabulous question. And do you know, it's actually something, if I'm totally honest with you, that I haven't nailed at all. I think my branding is terrible, hand on heart, I really do. It's something that I haven't invested in. It's something I did it myself, like I said, at the hobby, and it was something that I need now to go to a graphic designer and get it done because I'm not a graphic designer. But in terms of, I suppose, branding for businesses, what I would say to you, and this is something that I do, keep your colours consistent, whatever your brand colour is. And sometimes people say, I don't know what my brand colour is, and that's fine. Go onto your website, see what the primary colour on your website is, and select that colour and use that colour on your Instagram stories, use it on your cover photos, use it as the top graphic of your email. Always keep that brand colour consistent. And then in terms of branding, in terms of tone of voice, keep that consistent. Like on my stories, I could come on, but I could be crying, I could be laughing, I could be doing anything, but I'll always be myself. And I'm not this big professional, I feel like an imposter here. And I'm not this big professional, someone that's going to, do all this industry jargon. It's just not me. So I will speak to people the way, if you're in a different industry and you're speaking to me, I don't know your industry. So I speak to people the way I should speak to people, if that makes sense. And I think that's all part of my branding. But it's a fabulous question. But in terms of my actual graphic design, terrible. Would not recommend it. It's honestly terrible. And it's something that I do need to invest in. But it's something I know, but it's like everything else, you put it on the long finger. But I suppose that terrible branding has got me this far. Like, it wasn't the actual graphic designs that did any of this. So I suppose it's kind of a lesson. You don't need to invest so much at the beginning. And in fact, I've invested very little. The only thing that I really do pay for is my course platform and things like that. I haven't done any paid advertising or anything like that, but it's something I highly do recommend doing. But it's something that I need to start. But you don't need a lot of money and things like that. You just need to be yourself. Keep your brand colours consistent and keep your tone of voice consistent. And I think that's the most important thing. But that's a fabulous question. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Okay, who else now?
Can I just say to you, when Argento, we got our branding right at the start. So when we opened one shop, people thought we'd done a franchise store. So I have to say that if you can get a good graphic designer, the person that did ours was a friend, and it just turned out to be, and we use the same logo today. And one of the things that did, it opened doors for us because people assumed we were an English franchise, and people would come out and say, are you part of another group? And I was so pleased with myself because that's what we wanted them to think, And so if you can spend the money, you'll not go wrong. Let's Go Hydro is the same. We paid a very good graphic company who produced the logo and the branding and the whole package for us, and we could afford it at the time, and I have to say it was money well spent. I hope there's a graphic design company in the house.
Is there a graphic design company in the house that can pimp themselves out here? Is there any graphic designers? No? Does it give you a chance to pitch yourself? Okay. So, next question for Pete or Catherine?
My name's Sinead Davies, and it's a question for you people, sort of related. If you could tell us a bit, presumably in the trajectory of your career, you've seen a huge difference in the marketing and the publicity and presumably the decreased footfall. So do you use Instagram or digital platforms much more now, or how has that changed how you project and advertise and market your business and products?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I've changed. I was chatting to Maria, my head of marketing. I was saying I wouldn't feel comfortable presenting a pair of earrings on Instagram, I don't think. But I used to do it. I mean, I used to be in my shop, and I could tell you who made it. And oddly, I was at this event like this about 3 weeks ago, and a woman was wearing a necklace, and I was able to tell her the guy that made it. He was a Hawaiian guy, he's living in Mexico. She had bought it in Costa Rica, and I said, "No, I know who made it," And And that's the type of information when we were one store that we could give. Now, this applies on Instagram, and I'm unlikely, you're not likely to see me do these are the new earrings, but I'm going to Paris tomorrow to find new product. So yes, marketing has changed dramatically, but the whole industry's changed, even the sourcing of product. So trade fairs used to be the biggest thing to source product. By and large, new product, like Olivia Burton watches, is being started online. And if you are waiting to see it at a trade exhibition, you're probably too late. So by and large, someone on Instagram will have already got on a product. The product's generally starting momentum online before it even gets to a trade exhibition. So it has just changed beyond all recognition. So Linda Bryant's used to be our big person to wear product on the news. She wore the biggest pilgrim necklaces on the news. And nowadays I'd probably have to pay her as an influencer, you know.
Yes, understand.
Look, as I say, when you're small and growing, use all the freebies you can get because people have much more sympathy and they'll do things for free and they'll support you. You get slightly bigger, then again, it's that I can't ask people to do things for free. We're quite a big company, and it's not really fair. It's a power imbalance for me to ask the influencer to do something for free, so we tend to pay, more. So if you're up and coming, use that. Another thing is it's much more democratic now. I mean, I was looking at Ian Catherine. I said, "Dear, well, what's the Digg?" And she says, "Well, it's really a TV channel, isn't it?" So. And we were talking about last night even, it was like, in the past, you had to like grovel to get on TV. It was like you were constantly trying to come up with a wee angle, so UTV might come out and do a little story about Argento or something. Nowadays you can control that, and I think Walk-in Wardrobe's a good example. You effectively have your own TV channel that you can get to your customer, and you can use your own language. You can be much more authentic. And so, if you're a different generation than me, I think
I'm not. I'm the same generation. No.
I think it suits the younger people. I think to be doing that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm the modern day version of Linda Bryant's because I'm wearing Argento today. They dressed me in it for the show, so thank you so much. Anybody has any more questions? Okay, so we've just got a few more minutes, and then we're going to meet some of the amazing businesses at the back of the room.
I could ask you questions all day. This is for Pete. Pete, you're in a similar kind of market. In regards to sourcing, did you find it hard getting into certain markets? At the minute, we source our products strictly from China, but when we're looking into other areas, we don't want to keep all our eggs in one basket as such. So do you, what am I trying to say here? How did you find getting into other markets? Did you run up against any issues? Was there problems? Quality control, shipping fees.
So I've always imported all my life. So I'm used to it, and I think people can be over suspicious of foreign companies, So in China, by and large, and I've been buying from China for probably 20 years, no one has ever ripped me off on a delivery. No one ever has deliberately sent me poor quality items. Occasionally, I remember a pair of earrings we designed, and we wrote the color red on what the part that was meant to be red, and the earring arrived with the word red written on it, So by and large, Chinese companies just see as a great opportunity. They just want to give you, especially for a new order, they want to give you the best possible service and the best possible product. Because I remember buying some chairs off of Alibaba, and they were convinced I owned some sort of mega hotel and I was going to buy 5,000 chairs. So the Chinese tend to see everything as a new customer, great opportunity, and you're going to be our future. So by and large, I had seen nothing. Moving out of China, I was speaking to a guy from Port West, Harry owns Port West, and they're buying out of Bangladesh because wages in China went so high, and they have set up all sorts of what do you call social? There's an ERG, is it? So they've all sort of educational programs in Bangladesh because the word Bangladesh it kind of has images of that are less than perfect, So when he comes out of sourcing product in Bangladesh, he feels obliged to set up women's education programs, etc., because they have to offset this perceived damage of sourcing from there. Look, international trade fairs are where it's at. Hong Kong used to be at. COVID has really damaged Hong Kong's reputation and the democracy. Protests are damaging Hong Kong. But Hong Kong's awesome. Thailand's an amazing place to buy product and good for a couple of days on the beach afterwards, or company, was it corporate entertainment, tax deductible. So, so sourcing product more and more is done online. There's a show called the Canton Show, the Canton Fair, which is massive. And then there's little things that you just learn through. Like, for example, one time in Hong Kong, a buyer for Dunnes Stores got pissed and told us she was buying all her product out of South Korea and Seoul. So we changed our flights the next morning and flew to Korea, and we did great business in South Korea. So you've got to have your ears open all the time. You do not know when someone's going to tell you something or where to get it. If you think Turkey is a place, if it's clothing, Turkey's a big manufacturing base. If you write to the Turkish embassy, the first time I went to Mexico, there was no internet. I wrote to the Mexican embassy, and they sent me a booklet this big with suppliers' names on it. They were all from the one town. I thought, oh, I'll never read all that. But when I got to about the 5th page, I realised they were all in the one city called Pasco in Guerrero State. So that was like the big, So what you'll find as well is that all the manufacturing often in these places is done in one town. So like in China, there's one town does paving stones. There's another town does electronics. There's another city does jewelry, and there's so there's clothing in a place. So I know we have sourced products out of Poland, Mexico, India, Jaipur in India. So it's against one city does jewelry, and all the amber comes out of gas. So the internet, you're walking around with an Encyclopedia Britannica in your pocket. Things have changed. Information's available to everybody. Everybody can start whatever. They can start a jewelry company tomorrow morning because they can find a supplier online. So it's no longer the yellow pages. So get online and find your suppliers. And trust them. By and large, they want to do business with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Not many people just give over that information. Have you ever wondered, I wonder where they get that stuff? And then Pete just tells you. Is there any other questions? Okay, we have time for one more, and then again I'm going to get Catherine and Pete to maybe answer some, and I'll put the answers on social for everybody during the week.
Hi, I'm Ray from Starvey Hot Tubs, Outdoor Living. Question for Catherine and then one for Pete as well. For Catherine, it's all our products are mainly a one-time buy. We don't have repeat customers. What would your best advice be for advertising for them? And for Pete then, do you need any hot tubs for Let's Go Hydro?
Not been typical tied to the bed. Now, thank you so much. That's a great question. So I suppose in order to get repeat customers, of course, it's all about word of mouth. It's like we mentioned earlier about your reviews and your testimonials and making sure they're in those places that people are going to see. Because if you have these kind of loyal customers or whatever it is, or people that buy from you, you want to make sure that you're telling other people that. And telling them why they chose you over a competitor as an example. And another thing that you could do is, I find video testimonials now are just so engaging, and it's something that a lot of people don't look at. So, if they're really happy with their hot tub, why not just say, look, if you wouldn't mind, give them a 15% discount or whatever if they ever have to buy again, or they have a friend or whatever it is. And I think there's, ask them, send me on, a 15-second clip, something I can post on my social, and it's there forever. And as well, refer a friend. If you refer a friend, we'll help you if you help us. Because I know it is difficult with that kind of a business when you do have the once off, but it's about making sure that maybe, future potential customers know about how satisfied your own customers are and how long they've had the hot tubs and how, they've had no problems at all. But I think video testimonials are the best way to do that, and it's something that not many do.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Don't mention hot tubs to me.
Right, that.
Yesterday I got a letter of claim. I spent the whole day on the solicitor because Mary fell out of a hot tub and she's now suing me for 30,000. So
Mary drunk?
I might have to buy some new hot tubs, much safer ones than the one I can.
Give the call. Thank you.
Alix Mulholland from Field Day Ireland and Anthony Kieran from Used Cars NI and the Regency were literally put in the hot seats by the Digg Podcast live audience. There's some great questions and even better answers from this fantastic pair.
Hello, my name is Laura Jane Stylist, and I have my own women's clothing brand, Laura Jane the Label. Firstly, both of you, I was really inspired. Anthony, I'm actually also from Mulholland, believe it or not. So it's really inspiring, as you know, from a small town, hearing a really successful story. I never made it out of Mulholland. I'm still there and married there. But yeah, it was really inspiring. If you it has its moments. My question's actually for Alix. So I'm in the process of approaching buyers and potential stockists for my brand. And I just wanted to know if you had any tips on, these days, how to approach, what ways, I suppose, to approach them. Would you, email? Would you actually call into their stores, or, any tips that you may have?
Hi, thanks for that question. Yes, it's a really important one. First of all, make sure, a lot of bigger companies will have a buying team. So make sure you get the right name and the right person and the right email address. I would, and we still do this to this day, invest in a nice bit of literature, photography, really, really important. Splurge on that is one thing I would encourage you to spend money on. Make a really nice impression and send them, if you can send them a sample, if it's appropriate to do so, maybe email them beforehand if you can. And if you're lucky enough and they email you back and say, I would love to send you a sample. Most of them won't say no if I think they're going to get a sample that might be something nice. But don't do it in a rush. Make sure you do it well, because buyers have stuff landing on their desks every day of the week, and think about how you can sort of stand out and really put your best foot forward and make a really nice impression on them.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, sorry, my handle is Laura Jane Stylist, but the label is Laura Jane the label. Stuff. So anybody else got questions? Yeah, over here, good one.
Hiya folks, I'm Jo, Intuitive Mama Coach. Alix, Anthony touched on it, and it was discussed earlier on about luck. And I suppose my question is, how much do you think it actually is luck versus having that vision, that belief in yourself, the belief in your business, and then being open to those opportunities, hearing those things, seeing those things, and taking action?
I mean, I think I alluded to it earlier on. If you hang around a barbershop long enough, eventually you're going to get a haircut. It's only when you take that step do you put yourself in the game, as it were. And if you just if you play it safe your whole life, I guarantee you're going to have nothing but regrets. I guarantee that. But there's a saying, 20 years from now, you'll regret the things you didn't do and not the things that you did do. So sail away from the safe harbour, and I truly believe that find your passion, take risks, embrace risks, and don't be afraid to fail, and fail often as well. So
perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Laura. I am the joint owner of Pod Camping Ireland. We manufacture glamping pods. I have a question for Alix, please. You talked about rebranding, and that really struck home with us as a business. It's such a big step, especially when you've built your brand over so many years. Do you have any advice for somebody or a business who is thinking about rebranding and taking that big step?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. Don't do it in a rush. Really do consider it, and consider it for a while, and find a couple of people whose opinion you really do trust. If you're in a position to ask buyers, good experienced buyers, what they think, and then if you do decide to go forward with it, I would say try and find one of the best design agencies to work with, to do it with. You'll get what you pay for with good design, and a good agency will advise you really well. It's not an easy thing to do. It's definitely not. I wish you all the luck if you are doing it, but if you're thinking that, it could well be the best thing you ever do as well. It could be the decision that you make that 5 years from now you'll be going, that was the best thing we ever did. So yeah, I would say take your time with it, and really make sure that you're not just you're what you're changing from is something not, sort of comparable. Make sure you're really going up, a good few notches from where you are now, that it's really going to make you, make a difference. But I think good luck.
Is there any design agencies in the room or anything? I know we talked about graphic, but I mean, as a branding and doing that whole concept or anything? Is there? No. Okay. Okay. Is there any other questions for Alix or Anthony? What had I written down here? Kieran, what scares you? Alix. Oh, Anthony, what scares you the most? I had written down here.
Thought I'd go to the pantomime tomorrow night.
What scares you the most?
I suppose, on a serious note, it genuinely is not following your dreams or following, opportunities, because I think that regret is probably something that I don't want to have much of. And I mean, yes, you have to be very selective, because you can spend a lot of money in life. I have a lot of failed businesses as well that I want to just absolutely make clear. And I think, I said it earlier on, don't be afraid of failure, because, and I think that there's a lot of very talented people out here that are, that certainly could have a lot of his success, and probably a lot of yous do, but it is the people who can deal with failure. And if you have the guts to deal with failure, that's the measure of whether you want to get into entrepreneurship. But I suppose missing out on opportunities, not doing what I want to do now would be really scary for me.
I think we should all think like that. That's fair. That would scare us all, I think. Pete wants to say something. Oh, no, here. No. You deserve the microphone.
Alix, I just a light-hearted one about the scent of a pub, because the pubs I've been in, where would you start with the scent of a pub, It mightn't be good.
Well, I'll let you have a sample of it. That was an interesting question, because 10 years ago, when did the smoking ban come in?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and apparently one of the biggest problems that pubs had, this has got nothing to do with anything, but was that because cigarettes had been masking the smell of farts.
I know. I didn't think she got a
pubs actually do smell a lot worse now. But the dead rabbit, the scent is a lot of sawdust on the ground.
Okay.
So it's a woody, peaty scent with a hint of whiskey, since you're asking. It's lovely.
Very good. So can I just say thank you to Alix and Anthony, and if they'd like to come back to their seat then, and we're just going to do a roundup.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Digg Podcast. It's an absolute privilege to be your host every week and to spend time with the most driven, inspirational people. Don't forget to tag us on social at Digg for Success if you enjoyed this week's conversation. And until next week, keep taking those steps to making it happen in your business and in your life.